case you missed it, this is Randall for Not ESPN, coming to you live from the hotbed of the newest and fastest growing sport in America. It's called pickleball, and love it or hate it, whether you know it or not, you'll definitely want to hear what we have to say on this edition of This Week in Pickleball. All right, this is Randall at Not ESPN talking to you about the new fastest growing sport in America, pickleball. Say it with me and spell it. Yes, just like the pickle. We're gonna have to talk to Vlasic and see if they've got any interest in us. But pickleball, we are here with one of the top players in Salt Lake City, Utah, 5.0 player, Matt Dimmick. So tell us, what is this sport? Are we gonna call this a sport? Pickleball?
It actually is a sport, and it's demanding. It doesn't look like it, but it's very demanding on your body. Easy on the joints, but still an incredible workout.
And from your beard here, it looks like easy on the eyes as well, too. We've got people coming from all over playing this sport, young and old together. Is this sport really bringing generations together?
It is. There's a great story out of Utah. Kyle Klein, who runs a couple of the major tournaments, has his son. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Kale Klein, yes.
He plays with his son?
No, Kale Klein actually plays with his grandpa. Kyle plays at the 5.0 level, plays at a very high level. Kale's playing at a 4.0 level now, and he's won tournaments with his 80-year-old grandpa.
How old's Kale, more or less? Is he a teen or is he the dad?
He's 12 years old.
Okay, so the grandpa is playing with the grandson, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, very good. And are you playing with your grandkids very soon here? Or?
That might be a few years. They've yet to come.
All right, Matt, you are kind of the king of the court here in Salt Lake City. Talk to us just a little bit about how you got into pickleball and why there's such an attraction to it for you.
It was actually a mistake.
All great things are, right?
Yep. I just started playing tennis again. And winter came along. I was looking for something to do in the winter with my brother and went and tried out pickleball at Dimpledale Recreation Center. My brother never showed up, and I just kept on playing every day. From that very first time, I started playing about 3-4 times a week.
Now, you have a tennis background, I guess, and how has it been transitioning to pickleball?
Well, I've got a weak tennis background, but the strokes do help. It's definitely been a help in the transition to pickleball, and you can see the tennis in people's strokes.
Okay, so now is this set up like so if you're coming from tennis, you've got the ATP, you've got the WTA, you've got your major slams, you've got the USTA as well. Now, is pickleball that well organized? Like, what kind of organization does this sport have?
Well, we've got the USAPA, USAPA, and they've done a great job of spreading the game, setting rules. They've been working on changing the rules, making sure they're developing with the game and keeping the integrity of the game. But that's the only major organization in pickleball. You're starting to see other groups that are starting tournaments that try to work with USAPA, but right now they're the only major organization.
Not anywhere close to being as organized or as big as tennis is yet.
Exactly. In fact, we've got a local guy who's a PGA player who we are trying...
Golf?
Absolutely. And we were trying to get him to change over to pickleball. He said just add 3 zeros to the paydays, and he's all in.
All right, so they do have a U.S. Open for pickleball, and then they also have nationals. So talk to me a little about when does the U.S. Open happen in pickleball?
The U.S. Open happens the end of April. That's in Naples, Florida. And that's a fairly new tournament. That's only been around for 3 years, but it's huge. Just the number of people. I believe they've got 42 courts there in Naples now and looking to build more.
Okay, so the USAPA, they put together a lot of tournaments, and then they have nationals as well, which happens in the fall, correct?
Correct. So USAPA has regional tournaments all over the country, and they also run a national tournament. Other than that, they're a governing body that sets the rules and sanctions other events.
And how did you do the nationals? You went to nationals, and talk to me a little bit about your experience down there and what you saw out there. First of all, how did you see the level of competition, and what was it like being down there?
The level of competition is just absolutely amazing. Some of these young guys. So for an old guy, I was 49 years old. My partner was 48. And we're competing against these guys that are 21, 25 years old, who are, Division I All-American tennis players. The athleticism is a little bit different in those two groups, but we did fairly well. In the open event, we finished tied for 15th, which was excellent in my book. And then in the age group, I finished tied for 7th.
All right, and that was just on the heels of the Fall Brawl, which is in St. George, Utah, which leads into the Huntsman Games, which was right after that. So those are two really big tournaments that draw not only regionally, but nationally, if I'm correct.
Correct. I think you always hear him mention, anywhere from 38 to 42 states, 3 provinces of Canada, Mexico. We players from Great Britain. I played with there was a guy from Argentina that I played against. So it's got a huge draw.
So those were lead-up tournaments to the Nationals, and if you couldn't get into the Nationals, then we had the Randy Baby Round Robin Turkey Shootout, just on the heels of Halloween. So talk to me a little bit about the level of play here in Salt Lake City. This tournament was like a 3-5 to 4-0 tournament. And talk to me about what you see out here in Salt Lake City as far as the play and level of pickleball goes.
We're really lucky here in Salt Lake. We've got a really high level of play and a lot of really high level players. When I came into the sport about 5 years ago, we had 2 outdoor courts in the county. And I can't even tell you how many, somewhere around 40, 42 courts in the county now, outdoor. And then pretty much every rec center in the county has indoor pickleball now. So anyway, we're lucky. Utah as a whole is a hotbed for pickleball. John Gulo really pushed the development of pickleball up in Ogden, and that helped the northern Utah pickleball scene grow. And then St. George is just a natural. All the senior communities down there really has a booming community going, and it's a great place to play.
What's the skill level like in Salt Lake compared to other parts from other players that you've seen from around the country and around the world?
As good as anywhere. We've got a couple of young guys coming up, Jake Waldron and Ryan Corey, who played down in the Southern California, there's one of the tournaments down there in Southern California, knocked off some of the top players in the country. So they're 2 up-and-comers that are as good as anybody out there. And just the number of kids coming up, we're starting to see young guys. Ethan Lee coming up is just phenomenally athletic. And I think as soon as he starts to get a little control in his game, he's going to be right up there with the best. So we've got everything from a big 3-0 community and huge 3-5, 4-0 community. And you're starting to see that 4-5 division getting bigger every tournament.
All right, so let's get to the nuts and bolts of what we're here to talk about. The Round Robin Turkey Shootout, which is a 3-5 to 4-0 type tournament. It was invitation only, so if you didn't get your invitation this time, be on the lookout for it next year. And talk to me a little bit about the players. You've seen most of the players play that have played in this tournament. Talk to me a little bit about what you see for them and where you see maybe the future for some of these guys.
So there's a good mix of people. You've got guys like Richard English and Craig Bruin, who've probably been playing for 7-8 years and have been at that banger stage. They're both hard hitters, love to play the hard game. They're finally accepting that the soft game works, and they're adding a little bit to their game, and you're seeing them start to move up in the rankings. Then you've got a whole bunch of people that are fairly new to the game in the last couple years. You watch a girl like Alicia Duffy. She's just, her passion for the game and watching her commitment to improving has been fun to watch. And then there's a whole crew. Randy, I mean, you see those guys out there. How many days a week they're out there? A bunch of them are out there twice a day. So that whole crew is improving fast, but it's fun to see the people that are just brand new into it, the people that are a little more seasoned, that have been playing for years. Well,
we're going to take you down now. Let's go down live to the courts. We'll be back with more after this. You know how to work a camera?
So, I missed all that.
Okay, Leash, come up here.
What do you want me to do? We're gonna
Look
fall.
through the thing while you're doing it. Keep the shot. Zoom out wide. So this is going to be our above the court shot. We've got some painter's tape. Good old painter's tape right here, so that this iPhone doesn't die, because the person whose iPhone this is would kill me. What do you think about all this?
I think we're gonna fall.
Okay, so now look, as I'm putting the tape under here, and then over the top here, so that the wind won't blow that off.
Guys, if these 5-0 players would have played with us, what do you think?
What did you say? If those 5-0 players would have played us, what would have happened?
Yeah, those over there. You see those over there?
I would have killed them.